You're going to watch them find their children. That's a polite way to come on to a bunch of cows. Now, over time, if you did this, I would be half the distance I am now, and they would just walk off. And then after that, they would just stand while I rode by them, not through them. So this is how it starts. My colt, this is second day around cattle, so same thing. I don't want to overwhelm him, and I haven't got any place to be right now, so he gets to watch this.
There's the cow.
That's that K Diamond cow right there. She's got a black baldy calf on her. I think that's Brian's sister. You can hear them calves, they're talking. If you look right on the ground down here, those little brown bunches right there, that's dried out, cured Hillary. Highest protein feed on the desert right there. Now the beauty of what we're doing today is that they're going to mother up and disappear, and then we're not going to go get them. So that's another level of no pressure. They feel compelled to leave when you show up, and pretty soon they won't feel compelled to leave. Since we're on the subject, the reason we're here this morning is yesterday we put these cattle on water. And Chinaco here, when I went to cross the creek, he figured out there's no way in hell he could cross it. The exact same creek he used to cross when I packed him. You might recognize this country. So I was in my hackamore, and I just let him jump it. Then I walked home, knowing that this morning I would be getting up early, leaving the house, and I headed this way. And now I've got a halter on because I don't like schooling a horse for a habit like not wanting to cross water in a bosal. That's a good way to ruin the hackamore mentality. But I can use this halter, and if you'll notice, I cut one of the strands out of the nose. So now I get all the leverage I need and anything I want to do without ruining the effect of a bosal. And I've rode him enough that it isn't like the first time I rode him outside. He understands the bosal. He understands the halter. So the foundation's here. And on that note, when we talk about bridle horses, I've seen lots of guys, they'll get to a corral and they'll hang their spade bit on the fence, and they'll get their get down rope and rig up a bosalito into a hackamore and go ahead and work cattle and ship and everything else so they don't tear their bridle up on some bed spring propane tank corral. Now we have literally seen propane tanks lined up side by side, standing upright with hay string tying them at the top, and that was considered a corral. The funny part was is he actually painted them individually, so you never know. Okay folks, I'm just gonna go over here and to the creek and start schooling him on crossing it, and we'll go from there. Yeah. For those of you that are curious, this taller plant is called vetch, and that's what the bees love. We've got bees down, hives down the end of the pasture. And of course the smaller ones are cottonwoods. But now this, what I'm trying to do is less hands and left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. That's where I'm headed. He already knows what's going on. And this bank will make him uncomfortable. You'll notice every time I bend his head, I let go. I don't hang on his head. So he gets to decide. Now see his mind? Watch him. Now this is right about where he did the high jump yesterday. So, for the human, and I know this happens to a lot of humans, my horse won't cross water, 2-hour wreck, had to get your Uncle Bubba, there's all kinds of stories. Well, what I'm going to tell you a story about is penguich while I'm working. And we went to Penguich this last weekend, and I got to tell you, it was a classic trip. It was really fun. And the town of Penguich, which means big fish, is in Utah. And it's off of Highway 89, which is beautiful. Now you see how he's stumbling around? What it boils down to is, would you rather just walk through the water and up and down, or do you want to stumble every time you come out? That's what he gets to pick. Now remember, I was here yesterday and he jumped over the whole thing. And that's the, now watch his right hind leg. That's where he runs into trouble. He don't like that. So anyway, Penguich has some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. It's a real nice little small town. And one of the main things I liked was that there was no chain food stores like Burger King and McDonald's. It was mom and pop restaurants. And they were all good. And the motels, there was no chains. It was all mom and pop. Now remember, it's uncomfortable on the edge of the bank. It's more comfortable right here. So, what I'm getting at is that Jason and his father made lamb and stew and Dutch oven cobbler. And we just had an absolute ball. And I think that's right. One reason I do small clinics. This is a roping clinic. And everybody was involved. And what I do is I had probably 3 guys that were pretty ropey. And a bunch of guys that were just trying to figure it out. So I got them going. And the guys that knew how to rope were more than glad to help the guys that didn't know how. And that's what makes it fun for me. Because now nobody thinks they're special. And we just spent the day having fun is what it amounts to. Now the Triple C Arena is right on the edge of town. They had it's called Cowboy and Cowgirl Week. So they had barrel racing, team roping, trail class, I don't know what all. And a horse sale, and it was just, everything was top drawer. And so the arena itself is it's a full setup. I've never been to a place where you got three arenas, 1 indoor, 2 outdoor. And us being peasants and heathens, they put us in the corner, which was perfect for us because it's not like I have bus loads of people coming to watch our clinics. And we just had a ball, made a day out of it. Now the main thing I wanted to tell you, once again, is that we're very fortunate, and I got to connect a bunch of dots personally. Because on the way over, we stopped and got our friend Mike in Red Rock outside of Vegas. And that's where the old Spanish Trail, the guys that used to steal or buy horses, they'd stop there on the way back to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And Mike, his outfit's right on where the springs were, where they watered these horses, anywhere from 300 to 1,000. And then they left there and had to head north to get around the Colorado. And here we are on the way to Panguitch, and I see a sign that says Old Spanish Trail on it. So we went across it again, the way them guys headed north. So that was special. And then we were standing on the street waiting to eat. There was a guy pulled over his car and got out and come over and recognized us and wanted to say hello to me and thank us for the YouTubes. So that was pretty special. And then where we're standing doing the roping, by the way, this horse is processing right now. If I was all focused on this horse, it'd take me twice as long. Now, it was worth getting up early, trotting out from the house, coming all the way down here just to get this. Okay, what I wanted to tell you is when we were doing the roping, there was a piece of land right next to us, literally, and it was a bunch of grass. And the guy that owns it's in Maine. When he found out we were coming to Panguitch, he called the man that runs the Triple C Arena and told him about us. And that's why the YouTube is so much fun for us, because, what are the odds of a guy in Maine having the land next to where we were standing? So that was pretty neat. And then on that note, I called him up, and I'll be going back there when people quit being stupid and I can actually ride a plane. But it's just interesting to me about history and people and all the things that I really enjoy. They all got connected on this trip. So Deb and I had a really good time. You'll see a video pretty quick on it. And there was a real highlight of a young man that's either headed for the PBR or he's going to be president. I don't know which. But anyway, that's just a sneak preview. So now this colt needs to go up and down this creek. And that's where we're headed. There is no options. It's forward. You can walk in water. Now you can appreciate why I don't do this in a hackamore. And it's all about my spur. This is uncomfortable here. See me giving the slack? This is not the place you want to be. There's no different in trailer loading. He's going to figure out the best place in California is standing in that creek. Another dot I forgot to connect was that our friends Ben and Shelby flew out from Georgia. We picked them up in Vegas and took them with us. And so they helped with the clinic, which was a real plus for us. And we all just kind of had a ball. So I want to thank Ben and Shelby for the help they gave us. Now right where I'm standing, this creek goes underground, right here. It's typically 500 yards farther that way, but right here she goes underground and you don't see it again. But where it comes under the fence, onto the property, it's probably running 20 gallons a minute. Now this is just a prelim. When this is done is when he'll walk across back and forth. We're just making it blatantly obvious that you don't need to worry about it. Now we'll leave and then we'll come back in. Changes the dynamics. 100%. The dog is part of it. It's like, too bad. You're going to get used to that. And once again, this is why this is done in a halter. You ever do a slide stop in a creek? Now look, there. Now it's over. Absolutely done. When I come back here again, I'll be in a hackamore. If I think it's going to fall apart, it will fall apart. And I think you know me well enough to know that I've already crossed the creek when I get out of bed that morning. Always nice to have a dog for a prop. So anyway, that's the deal. We want to say thank you to Jason and everybody in Panguitch. Everybody. We were treated like kings, and we'll be looking forward to going back next year. Okay, folks, that's it. Thank you.